Hey guys, it's Rogway here, and we are continuing on with Super Mario World here. And we just finished up pickups, so we now have him going and picking up those coins using Visible. That's a great command to learn because you can hide or bring things back whenever you want. It's awesome. So that's pretty easy. But we got a problem, and we need to add a few things to make this problem go away. First of all, you'll notice if I just go and test this, he will run. Oops. He'll run and jump and pick up coins, great. But he doesn't ever die. And if we're going to put enemies in here, like for example this pit, if I drop into the pit, I'm gone, but I can keep moving, which doesn't make any sense. So what we're going to do is we are going to put a death check. We're basically going to see if he falls into a pit and dies, does he die? Alright, we'll start with the pits. Before we do that though, we're going to add to our sprite. We're going to add a few things to our sprite. We're going to put, first of all, let's just zoom in on Mario here. And let's double click. Let me just unlock the Mario layer here. Let's click Mario, double click. We are now inside of the sprite. What we're going to do first, and I forgot to do this in a previous video, we want to make Mario's animation change. When he jumps, if you've ever played Super Mario, he puts his arm up. And we want to include that. And it should be pretty simple. I'm hoping even you guys would be able to figure that out without me telling you. But let's do it. We're going to go to frame 3 of this movie clip. I double-clicked it. And now I'm in here. And I'm going to right-click, insert a blank keyframe, turn on my onion skin so I could see where the previous Mario was. And I'm going to go File, Import to Stage, and inside that folder, I just gotta find it again. I've moved stuff around a little bit. Where is it? Mario Game Assets, Jump. There he is. I'm gonna hit open. Okay, and there's the bitmap that I've got for him jumping. And we're gonna go modify. We're gonna go to bitmap, trace bitmap. Remember this, 5.1, tight, preview, looks good. Okay, it's not going to be perfect. Like I said before, if you are making your own game, you would actually be creating your own custom art. This is just for the tutorial. We're going to get rid of all of the white, as we did before. This is pretty repetitive from the previous thing. And now we'll select them all, and use transform. Oops, we don't need to make this a symbol. It's already inside of the Mario symbol. We'll just leave it as objects. But we do need to click frame 3 and put a stop on there. Okay? So we've got a stop on frame 3. And now let's go back out. Okay? Going back to our actions, we are going to look for where he jumps, which is inside of keyboard space. Alright, and we can see when it goes down, jumped equals true. We already talked about all this, but we also want to put inside there Mario dot go to end stop, oops, 3, which we just created. Okay, and then let's test it out. That's all we need to do. That's all we need to add. Test. Yeah! Looks great. So you see he puts his arm up and he does that kind of Air Jordan pose while he's jumping. Beautiful. Fantastic. Okay, we also want to include a death animation inside of this as well. Okay, so once again, we're going to click Mario, we're going to double click Mario, and we're going to go to frame 4. And we're going to insert, oops, right click, insert blank keyframe. We're going to make a death sequence here. Now this is going to require us to create a bit of an animation. You'll see in a second. So what we'll do is we will file, import to stage, death, open. We've got Mario's like face and body facing us as he dies. And we're just going to zoom in on that. And we're going to trace out the bitmap for that. Same deal. And let's just go in here and get rid of all the white so we don't have any pieces sticking or left behind from the previous background. There we go. Now this one, however, this one we will convert, okay, into a, let's convert it to a movie clip. Let's call it Death. Oops, not Deathy. Death. Hit OK. And we're going to create an animation within this. So let's just zoom out a little bit. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. And we might need to beta test it a little bit, but we're going to double click inside here to go inside. Very important before that, let's just put a stop on that frame before we go any further. Okay, we're going to double click it. We are now inside the Death movie clip. Here's a kind of a weird thing. We need to convert this to a graphic movie, graphic symbol. So, or we could leave it movie clip, it's fine, but I want to do it the right way, graphic, and I'm going to call this Mario Death, and hit OK. And all that we're going to do, I'll show you a super easy way to make an animation for this. It works really, really well. We're going to go to, let's say, frame 40. And we're going to right-click frame 40. We're going to insert a keyframe, not a blank keyframe, a keyframe. Put that in. Oh, we can turn off onion skidding. And let's say by about frame 15, maybe 10. Put a keyframe there too. Right-click, keyframe. Now, if you've ever played Mario, you know that when he dies, he kind of does this little jump and then goes down. So on frame 10, we're going to move him up. Okay, so he's going to actually move up, like you can see here, to where, that's probably too high. Maybe like that. And then frame 40, we're just going to zoom out a bit. On frame 40, we're going to make him go way down here. And you can hold shift to move in straight lines. Okay? And the reason we're going so far down is if he dies, even like up here, we want him to go all the way off the screen. Maybe we can even go further than that. Yeah, we'll adjust that after. And then all we have to do, guys, if you remember basic animation techniques, all you got to do is right-click in between these, create classic tweens, and now we have a nice little woot woot. That's the sound. Woot woot. He's falling, he's dead. And he's falling off screen. So let's go back out. Let's go all the way back out. Make sure you have a stop on frame 4. Go all the way back out. So inside this little sprite of Mario, we have him falling. And, sorry, he does a little jump and then he falls. And we need to start by detecting if he dies. And I think the easiest way to start with that is I always get my info palette showing up. Okay, so window, info. I'm going to look for what we need to detect for him to die. And you can see that when I put my cursor down at the bottom of the stage, my Y value is 400. That's because the height of the stage is 400. So I think what would be a good death check to start with is for us to detect if his Y-axis goes greater than 400, then he dies. Okay, because basically saying that if he goes below the edge of the stage here, he's dead. Okay, I think that makes sense. So we're going to scroll down. We're going to go to our game loop. I'm going to give it some room. So I like to be able to see what it's doing. And inside of our game loop, we're going to create a function called death check. Okay, and let's go down to the bottom of our code here. And let's make a function called death check. And this is going to be a little bit different than what we've done in the past here. Not major, though. You guys should be able to figure this out easy enough. For our death check, okay, we are creating an if statement. And we are saying that if Mario's y is greater than or equal to 400, okay, then what's going to happen? Mario, we won't let him fall any further than that. We'll say then Mario's y will equal 400. Okay, so he won't go any further. He'll stop. It'll force him to stop at 400. And then we're going to play. We're going to go to and oops, I need the capital, very important. Go to and stop frame 4 of Mario, which was that death scene we just played. Okay? Simple enough, right? So it's constantly checking if his y-axis goes over 400, then just set it to 400 and stop and play that little sequence. So let's test that. Sorry, it's going to take a little bit because I got to go to the pit. Oh, yeah! Oh, that was a little glitch. Okay, but watch. So here's the pit. As soon as Mario's y goes to 400, he should die. And it works! Oh, and he just keeps jumping! That's because we need to tell it to do something. We need to tell it to go somewhere or do something when he dies. Okay? And in order for us to make it go somewhere, we need to have something, some scene or some frame for it to go to where it resets this world that he's in. Like when he dies, he needs to go somewhere. Because right now he just dies and he keeps dying, and that's not really good. But at least we've got our death in there, and we've got our jump sequence in there as well, which is great. So I'm going to stop it there for this video. We're going to do this all in a second part. So hopefully you were able to follow along with that. We've got our death sequence in. We're going to need to add enemies. We're going to need to add a frame for our start, or a restart. So stay tuned, follow along, save your work. Let's finish this up.